I think I already know the answer to this, Stevie, but I'll ask it anyway. Is there any excuse that Slovenia knew that a draw would be enough, pretty much, to get them through? Hence, they sat back. Hence, it was more of a task for England to break down 11 men behind the ball?
No, absolutely not. And I would suggest that in the first half, there wasn't that much between the two sides. Second half, England pressured them. But they pressured them without hurting them. You know, there wasn't a chance in the second half. You know, you could say there was one chance in the first half. Conor Gallagher, I believe, should have got his head on it, should have put it in the net. But that was it in this game.
Yeah.
So I absolutely don't think you can look at Slovenia and say that... To say that they were capable of making this so tough for England, England made it tough for themselves. And let's be honest, yes, we can question things that Gareth Southgate does. But when you've put a team on the field with the names on the jerseys against a side like Slovenia, who you saw at the end of the game, this is utopia to get through the group. But it's not good enough from the England players. And I'm absolutely not putting all the blame on Southgate.
Right.
Players have to play, they have to get their head right, they have to get their attitude right, and they have to go and produce. And you can't always just blame the manager for putting the wrong people in the wrong spot. And you certainly can't do it. With the amount of players that you said, Harry Kane, top man in Bayern, Bellingham, top man in Spain. I mean, go through the whole side. John Stones.
Yeah.
I mean, go through the whole team. The players are responsible. And one of the stats we heard during the game just sums it all up. That Phil Foden had only connected with one pass with Harry Kane halfway through this game and 2 previous games. That tells you all you need to know.
What's going on with someone like Jude Bellingham?
Well, Jude Bellingham's a guy who's at his best, certainly in an attacking sense, getting in the box late. But when you're not sure what's going on around you, particularly in the wide areas, when to go, when to stay, you know, when to get involved, then you're kind of wasting a lot of energy running around trying to figure out who's going to put it in. If it goes in a certain spot, surely you're going to whip it. And then whenever it isn't that right spot, he makes his run, the ball doesn't come, they come back out, they go all the way around. So a guy like Bellingham, who thrives on doing damage to the opposition in their penalty box, has no idea when to go and when to stay.
So with Bellingham, you can offer up an excuse because of the system?
I think with Bellingham, you can offer up an excuse because...
What about Harry Kane?
Playing Trent Alexander in the middle of the park on the first 2 games absolutely didn't work. Conor Gallagher absolutely didn't work. And we saw when Mainu came in the second half, whether that was to do with Slovenia running out of steam or England putting pressure on, Mainu made it better. And that freed up, in my opinion, Bellingham to get involved a lot more.
What about Harry Kane?
I can't help thinking Harry Kane's not 100% fit. Because if he is, then he's just looked gassed.
Right.
Because he just doesn't look sharp. He don't, I mean...
Isn't that something you could tell in training, though? Couldn't you tell that there's a problem with it?
If I'm Gareth Southgate and Harry Kane is 80% fit, I'm playing Harry Kane.
Right.
It's just that simple. I'm playing Harry Kane. Look, and I do not believe... Sorry, Shaq. I do not believe that Harry Kane was brought off against Denmark for any other reason than he was feeling it.
Go on, Frank.
Yeah, you know, you remember that I got mad of Nagelsmann for not resting some players on the 3rd game, and I could say the same with France, but I can say that also about England. I mean, they play against Slovenia. With all due respect, you know that with the player that you have on the bench, you have the right to think that it could be enough to beat them, or at least draw with them to get the first spot in the group stage. So why don't you rest some player? I think Bellingham is not looking good because of the system, but because maybe he's a little bit tired as well. And you have the right to rest some players because the competition is not over. I mean, the hardest way, the hardest state, is going to be next in the last 16, and after we'll have the quarterfinal and semi. And according to everybody, England has to win it. So why don't you rest Bellingham or Kane for at least 1 game, the 3rd game where you're almost sure to go through, and then get fresh player for the last 16. That's not makes no sense for me. And Deschamps did the same today, where they were already qualified. He rest only a little bit Griezmann. Jan Nagelsmann didn't do anything. I don't know what's wrong with those new era of coaching, but it doesn't work for me. And you have players completely exhausted by a long season, but on top of it, you play them, and they're not performing well.